Well, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, Whovians out there all around the globe in every corner of the galaxy, regardless of race, color, species, or planet of origin. Whovians unite, ladies and gentlemen, because obviously Whovians have rejected the neo-Who that has come out of the Disney now funded Russell T Davies abomination that is the current iteration of neo-Who. Ladies and gentlemen, the fans have spoken. The numbers are absolutely in the toilet. They've lost over 2 million viewers since Christmas, since their Christmas special, introducing Ncuti Gatwa, Shooty, I know, but it irritates so many of you when I call him Ncuti Gatwa. Our dear sweet Ncuti Gatwa's Christmas special, they've lost over 2 million viewers. And then, just between last week's episode and this week's episode, they've lost over 200,000 viewers. How do we know that? Because BBC puts out these lovely little overnight numbers for us to show what kind of viewing numbers they've gotten, and it's been absolutely abysmal. This series has turned into more of a failure than what we thought even the Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker era were. Well, color us shocked there. Maybe it's just them, the fact that they're funding from Disney and taking right out of Disney's playbook now that they've got all of that Walt Disney House of Mouse money. Or maybe it's just another day ending in Y, because color us shocked there. It's, of course, not their own fault for writing stupid nonsense stories that push an agenda, or the fact that they've decided to talk down to their fans or completely and totally destroy their own lore. No, boys and girls. It's not the poor writing. It's not the destruction of fan favorite characters and the talking down to them as well in their own 60th anniversary episodes. No. The lower viewership rating, boys and girls, that's all of your fault. That's all of you racists out there who have done it. So color us shocked there. It's another day ending in Y, where fans are being accused of racism. Literally, this is nothing new under the sun. They have no new arguments. This is how you know they're failing. This is how you know they're struggling, because they have no other shields to hide behind. And this is why we knew they'd been hiring a lot of the diversity hires as well. We knew about the quotas. We knew about the agenda. We've seen enough leaked documents. We've seen enough leaked videos. We've had enough insiders come out and speak out to people. We know all of this stuff exists, which is the worst part, because you take a character, you take an actor like Ncuti Gatwa, who might be an incredible actor on his own. I don't know. I haven't really seen him in another thing outside of Doctor Who. He definitely does a very good flamboyant character from what I've seen from him in the 60th anniversary Doctor Who specials. Maybe that's what he does. Maybe that's what he's good at. And that's okay. Sometimes you need a flamboyant character in certain shows. So I don't blame Ncuti for this. Who I blame for Ncuti Gatwa's role as the Doctor, of course, is none other than Russell T Davies, a guy who has now decided to push his own ideology and decide to be more concerned with who he decides to share his bed with and making sure that that's represented on the screen than a family-friendly show about a madman in a box who travels through space and time trying to do good and save people while also having a lot of tragedy and loss throughout the time. Those days are gone now from Doctor Who, and just like so many other Disney properties that they've acquired over the years, is now nothing more than a vehicle for the agenda. And that is a sad thing to say. It's a sad thing to see, because so many of us have loved Doctor Who for so many long. And I consider myself more of a younger fan. I didn't become a fan of Doctor Who until 2011. Many of you have been around there since you were children. And that's a beautiful thing to see. What's not a beautiful thing to see is how abysmally disastrous and dumpster firely destruction that funding Disney money into Doctor Who has done. We thought it couldn't get any worse than the Chibnall era. And now here we go, boys and girls. And color us shocked there. It's just another day ending in Y, where it's all the fans' fault and not the executives, not the people writing it, and not the people be producing it. No. It's your fault because you're such a racist. You don't want to watch anything with a black man in it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the arguments and excuses they've come up to, and that's exactly what we're going to go over here right now and see exactly what they've said and destroy and deconstruct even more of their arguments that we already have in our intro. So we're going to check out this article from That Park Place, getting all the juicy details. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content and you've made it this far, hit that like button, share with all your friends, subscribe or follow if you have not already, and leave us a comment down below. And think about if you can, financially supporting. If not, all the comments, all the likes, and subscribing and following are completely and totally free. So let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen, because from That Park Place, our dear sweet John F. Trent, Doctor Who actor Ncuti Gatwa blames racism for viewers abandoning show. It's just really sad for them. No, what's really sad for us is how much you've destroyed our favorite show. So at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time over on Sundays nights, exclusively on our Rumble channel, we will go back and watch When Who Was Good and enjoy all the good times that you can never, ever take from us. Doctor Who actor Ncuti Gatwa blamed viewers abandoning the show on racism. In an article published by NPR on May 10th, the day before Series 14 released its first 2 episodes in Space Babies and the Devil's Cord, Ncuti Gatwa blamed racism for why people were abandoning the show. Oh, color us shocked there. And that's funny because he blamed this on the fans before the numbers even came out. It's almost like they were trying to have a built-in excuse because they knew the numbers were going to be abysmal. So what do? Front load with excuses. Color us shock there. It's almost like we've seen this happen before. It almost like history doesn't just repeat itself. It also rhymes. How weird. You know, we all must be psychic. Like all of us out there that saw this coming, that knew this was going to happen. We all just must be psychic. The Lord must have just blessed us with foresight and visions. Or it's because much like all of you out there watching this knew from a long time ago, we're not idiots. We know why you do this stuff, and we know the arguments you're going to come up with. That's why words like racist and sexist and homophobe and all the rest of this nonsense don't mean anything anymore. You've overplayed your hand. It's failing now. And at the end of the day, you can accuse us of whatever you want. You can front load whatever excuses you want. At the end of the day, 2 + 2 still equals 4. Up is up and down is down. White is white and black is black. Good is good and right is wrong. No matter how much you try to contrary to that, you're still losing millions of viewers. And that equates to millions of dollars because Russell T Davies himself said that the show and their ambitious new direction couldn't have happened without the Walt Disney Company and all of their funding. That the BBC would have just never let him go in this kind of direction. Holy cow, I didn't ever think that the BBC might be the only thing keeping any kind of decency left in Doctor Who. But here, what a wonderful, wild world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. Praise be to the Lord, because if nothing else, it sure is entertaining. He told the outlet, I don't want to diminish racial aggression at all, but you do want to highlight it and promote it. But for me personally, I find it fascinating that it matters so much to these people. You're going to eliminate yourselves from a show that you claim to love because you don't like something about someone's appearance or their race, Gatwa added. It's just really, really sad for them. Now, this was before his season had even premiered. This is before even any of the comments had actually come out or anybody had said anything about it. And here's the thing. Ncuti Gatwa. You're not getting criticism from a bunch of racists. You never have. Yeah, might there be an odd one out there saying dumb shit on the internet, but hey, guess what? Welcome to a world of free speech. You're always going to have morons saying dumb things. But if you want to go out there and accuse a legitimate Whovian fan who has probably been watching this show longer and knows more about it than you do of racism, homeboy, you better bring receipts because you're talking to a half Mexican with a half black sister, a quarter Korean little brother, and 100% Wisconsin white little sister. So take that, shove it in your pipe, and eat my ass. Because I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not going to listen to your accusations. My best friend, the man who I call brother, who literally moved from where he lived to move with me when I got out of the military, is black as the driven snow and is way more black than Ncuti Gatwa and his English ass. Because I'm tired of this nonsense. I'm not going to put up with it. And he told us flat out, don't watch it. Turn off the TV, go outside, touch grass for God's sakes. Well, guess what? We've reported and documented the disastrous dumpster fire that is Disney's Doctor Who, Neo Who's ratings. They're failing miserably. And none of your front-loaded excuses are going to pay, are going to buy off, are going to convince anybody that's actually paying attention, because this is a song and dance that we've all heard before. This is a circus we've all watched. And guess what? Nobody's buying off on your dancing clowns. Nobody's buying off on your victim ideology. You live in a Western civilization. You star in one of the formerly greatest television sci-fi epics in history. A role that many people and many children and adults that grew up watching and loving the show would literally give their eye teeth for, if not their firstborn. And you want to sit there and talk down to the fans. You want to accuse us of racism when out there are legitimate criticisms about the ideology and the agenda that is being pushed in this show. You don't want to talk about that, though, because then you'd have to admit that your ideology and your agenda are wrong, and that the majority of Western civilization is not going to put up with it, is not going to accept it. You are not on the right side of history. You know who decides who's on the right side of history, whether you like it or not? The victors and the people who write the history books. We've seen your viewing numbers. We've seen your audience scores. You are losing this culture war. Unfortunately, for all of us fans out there, we've lost a lot in the process. And it hurts us. And it will always hurt us. But just like in every other major conflict out there throughout human history, things get burned down. We lose things. But at the end of the day, we can rebuild. We can build new things. We can build better things. And that's what their alternatives are doing out there. That's what the independents are doing out there. And who knows? Maybe someday in the future, 10, 20 years from now, an actual fan will get a hold of Doctor Who. And they will be able to turn this ship around and give us good quality stories again. But that day is not now. Today is the time of the fans. We have won, and we will continue to win, and they will continue to lose. And I'm sorry for all of us Whovians out there for what we lost. But don't forget, we've got 50 years of good quality Who that they can never take from us. So rejoice in that. Take this as a victory because we are winning. I'm sorry we've lost so much, but take solace in the fact that they will fail. They will lose, and we will win. And at the end of the day, Ncuti Gatwa, Ncuti Gatwa, Russell T. Davies, and all the rest of their ilk at Disney will be nothing more than a lesson in history of to what not to do. Your agenda is not the new trendy thing. If anything, traditional values are trendy again. And thank the Lord for that, because with his help and with your continued failure and doubling down on this nonsense, we will win, you will lose, and that is a victory that fans around the globe and Whovians as well can take at least some solace in.